Even better. Good.
They finally saw the error of their ways.
They don't have errors of their ways.
Stearns County. She got it on the MA.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't see how they
Three times.
I lost my chair, I'll sit here.
all the time.
Hello, everybody.
3 times.
Hi, Swanee.
How are you?
Not bad, how are you?
What,
It finally went through. So
just sitting
Yeah,
here?
good.
Okay, what, so this should be type 1,
Okay.
this wetland?
That's all wetland. What's that? Yeah, type 1, there's different types of wetlands. One is like
What do you
barely,
mean- what do
one
you
is
mean
barely
by-
a wetland, this means
This
blue is,
is
it is a
Oh,
wetland.
a few
Okay.
typos
You know,
in it. It's not a big
And the
change.
type 3, that is
It's the same, yeah. It's pretty much
There's
the
a little bit
same
of
as
type 3
what's
here.
on our agenda, except we're like,
I'm looking
there
at
was
the
one
one.
place
here,
where they said.
And
Okay,
here,
yeah.
so it must be another one.
Shouldn't get
Oh no, here's a
it.
sample point, that's what that is
So
here.
it's minor
Okay.
I don't know what a type 3 is.
stuff.
Maybe we have no type 3.
That's why I was wondering what the hell.
yeah, I liked it.
It's a good sales piece.
Because I know there's gonna be a couple other people that want to bid on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's gonna be a controlled road. Yeah, it all depends on what they want to give to us.
Right. I just found out that the vintage store is probably closing. Louisa's got some kind of issue.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple things I got stopping there this weekend. On Friday, there's a couple things with my sister's son that she won't spend any money. I'll buy it for you then.
Yeah,
Can't turn it down if it's a gift.
that's right. Good point.
She likes that stuff.
I think when she changed it to vintage, it was a good move. Oh, I just she's got
You were?
taste. So
Oh,
I'm
what
sorry.
would have been like yesterday?
I've got to
course, this
stop
was
in there
new.
soon because
You just don't sit in the truck, you had to be out and about somewhere.
it's whatever it is, has
Okay.
got to be a big deal.
They call it Circle City.
And I hate
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
sheep jumps.
I don't know how these guys do. I'd run over to the VA today.
No.
I don't know how many side dumps or belly dumps there were. But, I don't know if they're all hauling, with after all this rain we got, I don't know if they're hauling to that winery or not. But they're just steady up number 4.
Right, and that's where
Yeah,
they,
up Lingo.
she and Dave live.
You know, it's all the same trucks. But I wasn't sure, I was gonna take 62 and see if they're working on that road. I thought with all that rain, they sure as hell can't be doing anything there. But although I think it was yesterday, oh, yeah, Monday, they
I
were
got a feeling.
all a lot of sand in there. They had a big semi in there dumping water, wet this down. And today we got 2 inches of it.
All right, it's 5:30. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all for say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Discuss, approve RFP for development services. Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'll probably let the attorney maybe start the discussion, but you got a proposal, a draft. What we want to discuss tonight is any changes you want made, and then we have a kind of a couple talking points that we think might, be prudent to go over as a council, so I'll turn over to Ashley.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, as you may recall, at previous council meetings, we have discussed a parcel of property that the city owns. And really, what discussed previously is what are the council's goals for this piece of property. In our conversations, it got brought up that there was a desire to potentially market this for a residential subdivision and specifically look at middle income homes. So those homes that would be affordable to families coming into Foley to make Foley their home. So what you have in front of you is a request for proposals. And that's exactly what it sounds like. Myself, Sarah, and Amanda have put together information detailing the background on Foley and some specific information we would like to see from developers who are interested in submitting a plan for how to develop this property. We outline various procedures and how that would be done and various information that would be included in those proposals. Just to highlight a few, we would be looking for a site plan outlining what they envision their layout to be. We did include some figures in this request for proposals, but by no means is a potential developer bound by those figures. We just wanted to give them an idea of what that may look like. We also asked for a narrative, some financial background information as well, so we can have information on the stability of the developer to make sure that this would be a good fit. And then we also asked for an offer and detailed information about why this would be the best offer for Foley. That of course would include financial offers if that is what the developer sees appropriate, but also information on why that developer could be a good fit for a variety of reasons based on potential past developments that they've done, so that that development could be something that the city of Foley may use and look at. And then ultimately the timeline of what we're looking at. So Sarah, if you'd want to go to that, because I think that's a significant part of this. So we would post this or release this RFP tomorrow. And the RFP can be released in a variety of ways. First, it could be on the city website. It can be mailed out to individual developers. And we also work closely with our community partners like the Benton County Economic Development Authority. Am I saying that right? I always feel like partnership? Okay, I always feel like I screwed up, so I apologize. To distribute it to potential developers to submit proposals. We have a period where questions can be submitted to the city of Foley, and the reason why we have that period of questions is because we want to make sure all potential developers are receiving the same information. So they would email Sarah their questions. We would then compile all those questions and answers and post them on the city website. And then we would ask that the proposals be due by November 1st. And complete proposals would include all the information that's requested in this packet. And then we would ultimately come back to the council to decide. Now, staff would review these proposals as well, too, to make a recommendation. And that recommendation can be based on a variety of factors, which are also outlined as well, too. So that is the broad overview. Does the council have specific questions?
Anybody have any questions?
I'm happy with it. I'm
I thought
happy
it
with
was
this.
well done.
Yep, I'm happy with the timeline.
We're trying to be as aggressive with the timeline as we can, but also then recognize the need for developers to have enough time to actually put together a competitive proposal as well.
If I could just add a couple things. Brandon was not able to attend, and he just, couple comments he had given to me. He wanted to just relay, this isn't a push for like high density apartments only. We're looking at like single family twin homes. Is that what the consensus of the council is? We just want to make sure everybody was on the same page as far as what we want.
So the bottom left, that'd be probably townhomes is what this concept is?
What I wanted to be clear on is if the council desired any like 3-story apartment buildings, or if we're really more focused on these type of units, single and, maybe 2 and twin homes or townhomes, those type styles.
Would there be enough space to even put apartments?
There's enough space, I'm sure, but that would probably take up a lot of it too as well. I mean, we kind of have some language about multifamily, but I just wanted to have a clear understanding what the council wants to see when it comes to, when we say single family versus multifamily. Multifamily can just be a few units in one, building, not necessarily 30 units.
Personally, my thinking did not include apartments. It was more in the twin home, townhome category with, if somebody would come up with it, is patio homes that would be more to the senior liking.
Okay. Do we have any concerns with that? I mean, that the proposal seems to cover all of those. I just kind of wanted to make sure I understood. Yep. Okay. The other thing, it does talk about 55 plus in the proposal, and one question that Brandon relayed to me is we don't want to push just 55 plus, if he's understanding. He wants it to be including them, but also considering the median household income of 60%. It could be a mixture of some one-level senior and some family housing or whatever it is. Is that the consensus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
If, I guess if a developer would like to put in a 3-story project, I'd be okay with that too. I'm not sold on just one type. I mean, we wanted to make it broad, so whatever a developer envisions, I'd be open to that too. So.
Yep. And I guess that's gonna be part of your evaluation of the proposals too, and what you like, I suppose. Is there anything you need from us regarding that, or is that's okay?
No.
Subjectivity is fine?
That is fine. We intentionally left some broad language in here as well too, because we want to give flexibility to the developers to be able to submit a plan as well, that the council would then be able to evaluate.
Okay, those are just kind of the main things that I just wanted to relay, since he wasn't able to be here, and make sure we had a consensus.
We filled out the dream sheet, so to speak there. I'm assuming the developer will come in with his layout as what he plans on doing.
Yeah, that's what we're requesting, like just kind of like a mock-up like this, something that shows what they're kind of doing. Nothing, not official plans, but concept plans, how many units, what kind of units, that type of information. So what I'm hearing is mixed, between single and multifamily. We're flexible on that. Just see what kind of ideas they come up with and what they can do. Okay.
And these ARPA funds are still available that we can use toward this project?
Yes, and I did confirm with the county on that. We have allocated those funds to water sewer infrastructure, so even working with a private developer, not a concern. They would be a sub-recipient of the city, so they would transfer to the city and pay for that needed infrastructure. So I got that directly from the county administrator, so we're good there.
Any other questions or concerns?
Can we, and I know Jared did a good job here, do something with, watch how many cul-de-sacs we put in out here? Somebody doesn't come in and, they're high maintenance.
Right.
I mean, sometimes you have to do it, you get it without it, but just keep that in mind. Somebody comes and puts all these little, they look nice and you get an extra house on them, but let's keep that in mind.
Kind of hard to maintain.
They're hard to maintain, that's probably our,
Yeah.
you get the snow complaints, nobody wants them in front and.
Speaking of the cul-de-sacs and road layout, we did specifically state that any proposal would be subject to a development agreement, so that's where we would be more specific in the road layouts as well too, in the maintenance of those.
Okay.
So the outside boundary where the houses are perceived right now, do we maintain any of that after, if this would go through, or do we just let it grow wild, or what's normally the?
I think that's still undetermined.
Okay. Yep, well, the top is wetland, of course. Yep.
You see that golf court has that area kind of around it too. It could be something like that. I know we might have to consider some type of like park or, recreational area too. I don't know if any of that would work for that area, but, I think that's something we'd have to have further conversation on.
I asked Jared about, moving the line back west, this east line back west a little bit, just, that's our road to the compost.
Right.
You know, we'll see what the developer comes out, so you might have a developer that goes right up to it, to the wetland, then you can't, so.
Okay.
Let's give them the option.
No, I
then
just was
when we do
curious
the
if
final
that's
sale,
something we
might-
maintain after the
might kick
fact.
it back,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
If it's kept like it is now, those would be outlots, and so they'd be maintained by the owner of the property. which
All
is
the way
also-
back?
Yep.
Oh, they
But
would?
But they could be, properties could be split in a manner that those lines for each property do extend all the way back to the wetland there, and then it's part of that person's property once they purchase it.
Okay.
If that makes sense?
Yep.
Does that make sense? No?
But what,
So like this, we're just showing the minimum lot size that would need to be to fit in the area.
yep,
These lot lines, the dividing lot lines, could go back all the way to the property line, and so their property could be much bigger than.
but
those.
wouldn't that have to be determined before?
Not before it's split, no? No,
So-
that will be determined when they put their concept together.
Okay,
And when we move forward to plating it, then we can make that decision if we wanna have all these be outlots or not, or potentially used for like storm water treatment, things like that, or the park, someone mentioned the park.
so potentially the people could own that lot going all the way back to the wetlands, is
Could,
what you're
yes,
saying?
Yep.
I think
Wouldn't
they,
that cause a problem if they wanted to do something with that?
If who wanted to do
If the owner of that plot, let's say,
they would have to follow the same rules as everyone else, they can't build in wetlands, they can't fill in wet, things like that,
yeah,
so, I mean, that's just a different way we could do it. Or we could keep everything as an outlot too, that's,
it does happen sometimes where we have that kind of long back, maybe the house buildable area is a little smaller, but then there's some open space behind. Because it's not buildable, it just can be, feel like more of your yard and so forth. The reason this concept ended up the way it is simply kind of following that wetland outline,
Right,
you
right.
know.
but I guess I'm looking at, if somebody did buy that, they could perceive as they could put a building back there, I mean,
Well, that would be, we would identify all that, we have the wetland delineation
Yeah.
done, that's public
I would have,
information.
that would be something that have to be disclosed, of course, so,
Yeah.
prior, so.
How did Baldwin handle that issue? Because I know a lot of their housing has, the backs of the lots are wetlands. And Baldwin has gotten in a little bit of a problem with that,
You talking Baldwin Township or what?
yeah.
I'm not sure on that one.
I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with that either, so I can't comment to that.
Okay, it's just
Yeah.
because they included where they expanded lots out. And that's okay, you can do it. But then they got in trouble with people not understanding wetlands. And they're, let's face it, they're like in stone. And you can't disturb or destroy a wetland. And they had people start doing it. So there was a real problem down there.
Not sure that, if you convey it to the private party, I don't know why it would be the city or town, I guess you convey it, you inform them.
Right.
And that's part of the discussion and the decision the council will have to make is how you wanna handle that.
But isn't that gonna be up to the developer to kinda explain the people coming in, hey,
Yeah,
you may own it, but you can only use the proportions of it that's
as
in our
a,
wetlands.
you also sell, you'd make a transaction, a developer or a city, whatever, we make a transaction. It's then, your responsibility to know where your property lines are and what you
Right.
bought and
Yeah.
what you have.
Yeah.
It's a common issue among city staff all the time. We have people coming in, not realizing where their property lines
Yeah.
and so forth. Ultimately, it's the owner's responsibility to.
just to say it another way, whoever owns the property, whether it be the developer, or if that developer would then sell to an individual property owner, they would be subject to all applicable local ordinances, state statutes, and any federal regulations, whether it be wetland or any other ordinance as well too. So if there's an enforcement proceeding involving the city, we would handle it, but we wouldn't necessarily do anything special just because there's a wetland here than we would in any other development or any other property that's within the city.
So all curb and gutter on this?
We would require them to follow all of our development standards as listed in the code.
Perfect.
Yep.
Any other questions about this? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the RFP.
I'll make the motion to approve the RFP for development services.
Second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all four say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Motion carried. Other business?
Nope, nothing else.
Do we need open forum today, or this special meeting, we don't have to have it?
You don't have to have it.
Okay. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Good.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all four say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Getting tired of seeing you, Kim. I'm getting tired of seeing you.